Welcome to the CryptoWise channel. My name is Dave. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Ethereum and its bear market bottom targets and accumulation zones, just like we've been looking at a lot of other cryptos as well. We are in a bear market. Bitcoin's in a bear market. Where and when are we going to bottom? We're going to be talking about that today for Ethereum. If you've been checking out, please check out my previous videos. If you haven't, if you're wondering about any other coins for some bear market bottoms targets, I have them laid out here in these different videos, and also looking at Bitcoin's bear market bottom targets as well, some of the first videos I've done. So yeah, welcome to the CryptoWise channel. In this channel, we focus on macro technical analysis and facts in the charts so we can have clarity and ease of decision making in the crypto market, laying out highest probabilities based on chart patterns, confluence, and indicators. No news, no hype, no narrative, just cool, calm, and focused. All right, let's get into it. So here we have Ethereum. This one's a little bit different, okay? It's a little bit different in terms of structure. Altcoins tend to vary a lot, but there's always a pattern and a structure that can give us a lot of information. As some of you may know already, I've been talking a lot about how everything's in the charts. We have patterns and structures and indicators that show us when a top will be in and when a bottom will be in. There's a lot of historical data that can show us and tell us with high probabilities where price will bottom in a bear market or top in a bull market. So let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum has had 3 bull market tops so far, and it's a bit inconsistent, but we can use the data we have to make a good assessment as to where it would likely bottom at this point. So we're just going to compare the cycles and see what data we come up with. So this is the bull market top of 2018, right? And from that top here to the swing low here was 336 days. I'm counting this swing low here December 18th because that's when December 2018 because that's when Bitcoin bottomed, and it was pretty much a year later. We did get another low here in March 2020, but that was the COVID crash, so I'm discounting that as a bottom just for the sake of data. If we look at Bitcoin's bottom in December 2018, if I zoom out here in the weekly, we see, actually it was this cycle over here, would have been this candle here. You see at the bottom of the screen, Monday 10th December 2018. And if I look at Ethereum on this exact candle here, Monday the 3rd December 2018, so the same week basically, it had bottom depending which candle you look at. It's also the 2 weekly chart, so yeah, so which was pretty much a year later, right? 350 days, and Bitcoin in this cycle in 2017 did about that, approximately 364 days, right? So within the range of a couple weeks. If we look at the second bull market top here, November 2021, and if we do the same thing, we're going to measure from the top to the pivot low, which was 210 days. Bitcoin actually bottomed here when Ethereum actually made a higher low, November 2022. If I show you the next cycle over here, just clean this up a little bit. We have this peak here, November 2021, and the absolute bottom of the cycle was over here on this wick, Monday the 7th November 2022. Keeping in mind this is the weekly chart, so the date wouldn't necessarily be exact. So that's 364 days, and then 210 days before Ethereum bottomed. If I move it over to where the higher low was, is 364 days, which is where Bitcoin bottomed. But we're looking at where the absolute low would be. So And what we're going to do is we're going to take these two ranges and apply it to the current top now, which is approximately here in August. So it's a shame it's not September, because it'll vary a lot. 210 days would put us in mid-March, which I think is not likely for us to bottom then. And then if I do 365 days, would put us in August, which also I think is a bit early. If it were to do 365 days, it'd probably be closer to end of September. So I think this top is just not the same as Bitcoin. It would make more sense if it was this was the top. This was 364 days. Yeah, that would line up better with the Bitcoin analysis. But because we're going by the data, we're just going to assume that this is the top here. So I'm going to actually, 364 days. And this one over here, so 364 days. I'm going to do it like this for now. So we have these ranges here. And I'm going to extend this to Bitcoin's bottom, because Bitcoin's potential bottom would be October. So I'm going to give it this range here. Because we do have data where Ethereum did make a low when Bitcoin bottomed. There and also here. So we can't discount when Bitcoin would likely make a bottom, which would be 365 days from the top. Because that's what we usually get. 364 days, top to bottom. The previous cycle, the cycle before that, was also 364 days. We see that, right? Top to bottom, 364 days. Top to bottom, 364 days. So if we measure, we consider that 364 days, we put that in the range here. So we're not measuring it from this top, we're measuring it from Bitcoin's top in this case. But we're considering that there's the possibility that we have a swift move and have a bottom an early bottom, which in this case would probably be end of March, April. If we have what played out like here, where we bottom and then make a higher low and then go up, bottom, make a higher low and then go up, it would likely happen, I would say, in April. Probably early, end of March, mid-April, for that to happen if it plays out. Okay, so this is the date range we're looking at based on Bitcoin and Ethereum previous history, and we're gonna get an assessment about where we would likely bottom here based on Bitcoin's analysis and where we are likely to bottom for Bitcoin. So we're going to look at the phases that we're in. So my recent Bitcoin video, I talked about how we're basically in this phase of the market where we are now. Okay, so in this phase of the market, we're not done dropping yet. So we're likely to consolidate for one more week here and then see another leg, one or two more weeks, and then see another leg down. So given that that's the higher probability, we can measure what that would look like. So let's say we did the similar thing here where we have another bear flag and then we have a big wick down. It's actually what's expected. So if we measure what that would look like, right, we see that this was a bear flag here, right, from top to bottom, and there's your measured move. Target was hit perfectly. And if we create another bear flag here from top to bottom, and let's say the top of the flag is around here, that would put us at 45. From the price now to that bottom is about 30, to that target is about 30%. Actually, that's not the way we're going to measure it. We're going to do it this way, actually. This is going to be a lot easier. So we're going to do it this way here. We're going to do this bear flag here was 38% move down, while Ethereum on the daily did a 48% down. So we're going to assume that Bitcoin's going to do another 38% down. Should put us in that 40. Yeah, so it'll put us around that mid 40 area, which would make sense. Let's say it did another 38%, which means we'd probably do about another 48% from, let's say, approximately here. Let's say that's where the bear flag was. So 48% would put us right into the top of this box, which it could do more. But I'll just give you an idea of what it could do here. So that's an area where it's likely to see some strong support. This prior bear market low is likely to get revisited. And yeah, another 48% move. We should be in this box here. So it is possible that it drops lower as well too, because altcoins like to capitulate pretty hard. We can see that this move here was actually very aggressive for Ethereum. From this swing high to the swing low was 56% down, and we're roughly around the same area, aren't we? Yeah, we're actually in the same zone. There's the range there. Wow, that's wild. That's not quite exact. But I mean, the bottom of that range was here approximately. So I'm looking at this range here, by the way. So if you guys are following me properly here, we're looking at this range here before it had the big collapse. And so we had that, and yeah, so it's actually, wow, it's pretty cool that we're in the same range. So we're likely to see a very similar move all the way into this box here. I have this box mapped out because of the weekly support here, and then the wick into it. So very, very likely to see that area. I think the absolute low I would see is just a wick maybe a little bit lower than this wick here, that 800 and change area. Yeah. So anywhere in this box, and I would even put this up a little bit higher, I would say, just to be a little bit safe, put it into the 1200 range. So I wouldn't be accumulating Ethereum until we see the top of this box. Right. So pretty interesting that we're in the same range. Wow, that's pretty wild. And even this range is the same too as well. Wow, that's very, very close. Very, very close. You see how mirroring this is? Like, we had a peak, we had a swing high, a pullback, a peak, breakdown, consolidation, breakdown, consolidation, breakdown. We had a peak, a pullback, a higher peak, breakdown, consolidation, breakdown, and we're working on a consolidation which will likely lead to another breakdown. So it's very, very similar to this previous cycle. Also, Bitcoin's also mapping that out very, very similarly as well. So if we look at the bars pattern, and I was able to just put this here like this, and I overlay it. I mean, it's not exactly to, wait, did it go all the way down? No, it didn't measure it all the way down. It didn't catch the wick here. So I have to just kind of stretch it down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So that's kind of what it would look like if it would repeat the same thing. So it would fit the thesis that if it repeats basically the previous cycle, which it looks very similar, that we're going to be looking at loading up in this box as a bear market low. So there we go. That's basically it. Just Ethereum follows Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's analysis is pretty on point so far. So that's it for today's video. If you guys are interested in some zero fees, check out the link in the description to trade on MEXC with zero fees. And also, if you're interested in some coaching, I can help you out with that too as well. And that's also in the description below. You can just send me an email and we can chat further about that. Okay. All right. See you next video. Peace.